Midnight, family disputes, major cause of fires. Head of State highlights importance of secular state provision. And proper training to ensure water safety. Very good evening. The recent infernos have turned out some rather alarming findings. The National Fire Authority says most fires occur after midnight and are a result of family disputes. Rebukelangi with this report.
It's a worrying trend that is now cause for concern with the National Fire Authority. In its investigation, it has established that most property fires could have been prevented if precautionary measures were implemented. Even more alarming for NFA is that close to 80% of fires occur early in the morning.
So we are urging members of the community just to be extra careful before they go to bed, to ensure that whatever can cause a fire is properly put out, and there's no chance of a fire occurring while people are asleep.
With fires occurring on a frequent basis, the NFA says most of these are caused by family dispute. The irony is that this incident could have been prevented.
So out of that 120, about 30% are arson-related cases. And then it's a worrying trend, especially those intentionally setting fires to their properties due to family disputes. And we are urging members of the community that if there's they're going through difficulty, to seek address from the professional people who can give guidance.
Last year, 9 lives were lost during property fires. The NFA set itself a target for 0 deaths this year.
This year I have set a target to reduce the number of structural fires. However, such a target will only be achieved with the support of the members of the community. And we are urging members of the community to please assist the NFA in making sure that they take fire safety seriously, practice fire safety, and also discuss fire safety with your family members to ensure that they are aware of what to do in case of a fire.
8 property fires have been recorded so far. Rebukelangi, Fiji One News.
And early this morning, a fire completely razed a 42-year-old man's property in Daumbati. According to police, the fire occurred at 3:43 a.m. Destroyed were 3 flats and a nearby single house. The cost of damages are yet to be determined. But the National Fire Authority is also investigating the cause of the fire. CEO John O'Connor says that a special team has been set up to investigate some of the complaints received.
I can understand her concerns and frustrations. And then if as a result of our complaints, I've appointed an investigation team led by the Chief Fire Officer and the Deputy Chief Fire Officer to look at the operations, the firefighting operations last night, and put together a report on how we could have, whether it was possible to prevent the fire from spreading to the other building based on the firefighting strategy implemented by the team. At the same time, we also...
Meanwhile, a man is currently in police custody for allegedly setting alight a home at Lami village yesterday. Police spokesperson Anane Soro said that the 4-bedroom corrugated iron and timber house was allegedly set on fire by the suspect. It's alleged this followed an argument with his 34-year-old de facto wife. Investigations continue. A secular state provision in the Constitution will protect all religious bodies in the country. This was part of President Ratu Epeli Nailatikau's message at an event to celebrate Prophet Muhammad's birthday today. Rebukelangi with the details.
It was a celebration with a difference as Prophet Muhammad's birthday was marked today. Other races joined Muslims to commemorate the occasion. The presence of the president making it more significant and drives home government's goal for all races to work together as a nation. Ratu Epeli Nailatikau had a simple but very challenging message on ways to ensure our religious belief in the communities we live in.
In how one relates to the members of the community that one lives in, and especially in supporting the less fortunate, and also in how one contributes to the development of the nation as a whole.
The President also provided clarification on the reason behind the provision of a secular state in the Constitution.
To provide everyone, without exception, the right to practice, uphold, and promote one's religion. It is also to protect all religions and to ensure that no one religion or sect within a religion has undue advantage over other religions or sects.
Ratepeli says the equal citizenship provision in the Constitution should be reflected in the ways we treat our religion.
It is now for the people of Fiji, that is, all of us, to work in harmony, to realize the benefits of true democracy and equal citizenry, because it is only through unity that we can succeed as a nation.
Ratepeli urged the Muslim community to leave their differences aside and work with other religious groups to maintain peace and stability in the country.
I also encourage you to partner with other religious organizations and with government to strengthen social cohesion in our local communities and promote interracial and interreligious harmony across Fiji.
This was also the first time the head of the state had visited the Ahmadiyya Muslim community since they were established 53 years ago. Ndribu Kelangi, Fiji One News.
Meanwhile, Prophet Muhammad's birthday celebrations was also an opportune time for other beliefs to share their views on the importance of his teachings. Permanent Secretary for the Public Service Commission, Parmesh Chand, said some of his teachings can be used in present-day experiences. It's all about living a simple life and looking after those we're living together.
In most instances, the common thread is simplicity. The simple life which the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, led has enormous relevance to many of our own respective upbringings. It has helped us to economize and to live within our means, also to look after our environment, to practice sustainability, and most of all, maintain harmony and peace in our respective lives.
Chan says another great quality of his teachings which has significant practical relevance is the principle of justice and fair dealing, which should apply to all races.
His utmost belief and commitment in the principle that justice and fair dealing to apply to all. He also had enormous regard for the poor and the disadvantaged. These are universally acceptable principles and virtues which we also all aspire to achieve. As noted earlier, such virtues help us to build societies and nations that will enjoy lasting peace and harmony.
Police have arrested the driver of a vehicle involved in a hit-and-run incident in Lambasa on Saturday night. Police spokesperson Anane Soro said the 22-year-old of Nakama in Savusavu was arrested last night. Meanwhile, the victim of a 42-year-old farmer of Univau remains admitted at the Lambasa hospital in a critical condition. Investigations continue. A team of government officials are currently in the Lau Group on a registration drive. The team includes officials from the Elections Office who will display the National Register of Voters. According to the Minister for Justice and Elections, Said Qayyum, this is all part of government's commitment to providing these services to those in isolated and rural outposts. This allows Fijians in the Lau Group to cross-check their names in the register. Those who haven't registered will get a chance to do so. But it's not just about voter registration, as those wanting births and marriage certificates can also get these sorted. Also part of the team are officials from the Births, Deaths and Marriages Office. This will also take into account deaths that have not been formally registered in isolated areas. Said Qayyum says by simply registering themselves, Fijians can tap important government services like healthcare and education. In a bid to address drowning incidents, the Water Safety Council is embarking on beach safety awareness programs for children. The council has also called on parents to be vigilant when children are near the water.
4 drownings so far, and the Water Safety Council of Fiji says children need to be made more aware and parents more alert. The reality is that learning to swim or knowing how to swim is not enough to save one's life.
So even if a child does know how to swim, or an adult, or if anybody knows how to swim, the skills of swimming does not necessarily reduce drowning. They still have to be aware of how to enter the water safely, what hidden dangers are in the water. So particularly in the beach, we have the waves, we have currents, we have tides, and it's an open environment where you can get cold or hot too easily.
Awareness about dangers can also prevent drowning.
If a child does say to the parent, "Oh, I know how to swim, let me go," and the parent thinks, "Oh yeah, off you go," the child can still get into trouble in water.
She says it's up to every individual parent or guardian to ensure a child is safe in the water.
The police, the Water Safety Council, Fiji Surfing, anyone can tell you supervise your child, but you must take it on board. Children don't have the strength to get out of water themselves. If they're knocked by a wave, or if they get into water that's just too deep for them, their chances of survival decreases.
A 1-year, 3-month-old infant was our youngest victim last year, and parents are asked to take part in water safety programs.
The Italke community unfortunately holds the highest drowning toll, so we do need a lot of Italkes to be involved. Just putting out the awareness to them, having the opportunity to attend like the beach awareness program, it's giving them an opportunity to learn in a safe environment.
The Water Safety Council of Fiji will this week conduct a beach awareness NIPA program for children to help them learn about water safety. Sherry Ann Wilson, Fiji One News.
Ahead in the news, Fiji Airways addresses in-flight services concerns, and Tonga picks up the pieces after Tropical Cyclone Ian. Hello again. Leading this segment, daylight savings will end this Sunday, January the 19th. The general public has been reminded to move their clocks back an hour at 2 a.m. this coming Sunday. Labour Minister Tony Usamati said daylight savings was quite beneficial to the public. He said many were able to use the extra daylight hours for productive and recreational activities. So remember to wind your clocks back an hour on Sunday the 19th. Now, you may have experienced delays when flying our national carrier, and of course there's always the concern about in-flight service. Now, for the first time, Fiji Airways has appointed someone to specifically address these issues. Sharon Wilson with the details.
Since his appointment in September, Fiji Airways has made some structural and management changes to enable them to focus on on-time performance. Recent delays, the airline says, was due to connecting customers.
The on-time performance for Fiji Airways in the months June, July and August was between 50 and 60%. Now, in the months since September until December, we released the results before yesterday. We have an on-time performance for these 4 months in average above 80%.
Pitchler says service is now much more reliable and costs that go with it much lower.
Because if you have whatever 50% on-time performance or 50% disrupted flight, you have a lot of costs because you have to accommodate passengers, etc., etc. So we have quick fixed the on-time performance already at a level where we are happy, and we will fix, and we are in the process of fixing other areas.
The airline has outlined at least 100 projects that it hopes to achieve before the end of the year.
And part of this is, of course, review the in-flight services, review the in-flight brochure, the magazine, review the product on board, the food on board, review the service processes, etc. This is a project which is kicked off, which is supposed to finish in Q2 2014. It's one of the many projects.
Pitchler says the airline is working on alternatives and discussing strategic options which will take time.
We did a restructuring, so we have now new people looking into that. Before, we had nobody accountable for the onboard product, nobody. So now we have somebody accountable for all that, and the key priority for those guys, for this lady in this case, and the team is to look into that and review it and come up with a strategy which we will implement in 2014.
The plan, he says, is to ensure customers enjoy a consistent service experience. Sherry Ann Wilson, Fiji One News.
Fiji Airways had 2 days ago announced profit projections of more than $100 million beginning this year. Stefan Pitchler says the projections have factored in repayments to the FNPF, fuel prices and foreign currency exchange.
It may seem radical, but the projections have factored in repayments made to FNPF for the purchase of 3 new aircrafts and a profit-sharing program scheduled for this year.
We have an integrated financial plan, which means every year we have our operating expenses, we have our operating revenue, we need to pay back debt, we need to accommodate for profit share program for the staff. Everything is included. It's a holistic, it's what a reasonable company or business does, is a holistic financial planning, which caters also for eventualities.
Pitchler says the airline has to make assumptions on fuel prices, including the Australian and US dollar, to try and mitigate risks outside the business.
So what we are also going to do, and it's part of the plan in 2014, to hedge fuel price at the budget level. To make sure we don't want to end up in a situation where we do a good job and suddenly fuel goes skyrocket high and we have all this additional costs we didn't plan for. That's not good. So we need to hedge the fuel price at the level of the budget. Or the US dollar goes through the roof and then our debt becomes more expensive because we pay in US dollars. We can't do that. So we have to hedge also currency.
And with plans to purchase 5 new aircrafts over the next 5 years, no longer will it rely on the FNPF, but look to the financing market for the best financing options.
So we have to fund now 2 more 737s in 2015 and 17, 1 more A330, which is in 2016, and ATRs, 2 new ATR 72. And we need to go to the market, to the capital market, and find funding. And then we decide we buy or we lease and with which partners we're going to do that. And right now, as we talk, we're going to the market to look for the best finance scheme.
Staff stand to benefit from a profit share scheme this year. Sherry Ann Wilson, Fiji One News.
Still on Fiji Airways, more local pilots will be recruited by our national airline as it sets out to implement a 5-year strategic plan. CEO and Managing Director Stefan Pitchler says a lot of Fijian pilots are qualified but have moved to other airlines.
Because we have a 5-year plan of pilot numbers, which pilots we need for which kind of platform means ATR, 77, A330, and then we decrease the expats and increase the locals. But because we grow in the same period of time, we can't just switch it over like that. Because where do we get the locals? We get it from other airlines, we get it from Fiji Airways gets it from Pacific Sun or Fiji Link. Then we have to make sure that Fiji Link doesn't dry out. They still need to operate.
The Itoke Land Trust Board plans to be more visible amongst its stakeholders this year. General Manager Alipati Getaki said this was part of their 2014 plans. The TLTB also aims to pick up on data integrity to ensure it's updated consistently. Getaki says with records kept digitally, a crucial component of that was ensuring their information is correct.
We have a database that for leasing and also for valuation purposes. We try and visit all our leases. So over 27,000 leases, so we want to visit all of these under what we call a 360 degrees inspection program.
More than $21 million has been distributed to schools under the free education grant initiated by government. 904 schools received their grant last week. This included infant, primary and secondary schools. But school administrators and management have been urged to ensure prudent financial practices are maintained. Permanent Secretary for Education Dr. Bridge Lal said the onus was now on these officials to make good use of the funds. Effective financial management, he says, was crucial and proper records needed to be maintained. The distribution of the second and third term school grants will depend on the submission of schools' 2013 financial reports and AGM minutes by the end of May. The McCoy Health Centre is an example of how public and private partnerships can work out for the best. The Ministry of Health says its efforts to improve health facilities there has been supported by the community and businesses. This, according to the centre's Board of Visitors, has led to major refurbishment works. A government statement says this included repairs to furniture, donation of shelves, a water blaster, computers, pillows and replacement of air conditioning units. In addition, the centre received other items including manual breast pumps, handyman tools and brush cutters, to name a few. The ministry has acknowledged such support, which it says assists its efforts in upgrading health facilities around the country. Stay with us. We have the latest from around the region up next. Tropical cyclone Ian has left one person dead and several others injured in Tonga. The cyclone ripped through the island kingdom yesterday, causing major damage. Relief agencies are now scrambling to get aid through to Tongans. This report from TVNZ.
Paradise lost for now at least on Hapei's main island of Lefuka. These photos just threw on social media. Tonga's local Red Cross was prepared and ready to go early with aid for the island's 3,000 residents. Many left in need of shelter, water and food.
The government of Tonga is leading an operation in order to get up to Hapai to assess the damage that has been done, how people are coping.
The New Zealand government answered an overnight call for help and dispatched an Air Force Orion for surveillance duties. It spent the afternoon assessing the damage Cyclone Ian left in its wake.
The New Zealand government has also made immediately available a 50,000 New Zealand dollar pool of money that can be used today or tomorrow or whenever is necessary.
Oxfam is also preparing to go to Tonga and restore sanitation systems and clean drinking water as soon as possible.
Our first concern is those families and people affected there, that they could access to safe water.
The Air Force and Oxfam prepared to stay for as long as it takes to get the Hapai Island villages back on track.
Now remember, if you missed out on any of our stories in tonight's bulletin, you can view it on our website at www.fijione.tv. You can also watch previous news bulletins as well as our current affairs, business and sports shows. We go to sports now with Myron, and Fiji's participation on the IRB series, not a problem.
That's right, Vili. Good news. The Fiji Rugby Union have confirmed our sevens team participation at Las Vegas and Wellington. That's coming up. Also in sports tonight, PRC brace for Yes 9 scrum review. And Chelsea sends warning to Premier League rivals.